Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Ektar replay cast. Today we have the OC Peach Boys versus Clouded Mines, and spawning in on the left-hand side of Volskaya Foundry, we have the OC Peach Boys with Muradin, played by Tiny, Zul'jin by Attack Power, Maev by RS Vicious, Artanis by Soul, and Tyrande by Currit. And on the right-hand side, we have Tiger playing Arthas, Venus playing Rhaegar, Double Dam playing Cassia, Swing playing Kael'thas, and Star Knight playing the Johanna. These are your Clouded Mines. Looking at the level 1 talents, we have Kael'thas going with the smart pick, not the brave pick. A really interesting pick actually coming out from Tyrande. That Mark of Mending is not the usual pick, giving up that active ability to heal your tank from auto attacks. Attack Power living up to his name, trying to get in there and get some really early stacks done. But both teams looking like they don't want to take any super aggressive fights, just trying to get that XP nice and safely. A little bit of damage coming out onto Maev, but not a whole lot. RS able to walk out of it a little bit more than I thought, actually, but still able to walk out of it just fine. Venus getting in for that Rhaegar jump. And Arthas actually was straight down into the bottom lane, so bit of a swap coming out on there, but Soul puts himself in a worse position for that swap. And it looks like he should probably go down. Maev with the incredible peel actually is going to get Soul out of there. Gets chunked out really hard themselves for making it happen, though. We see interesting Tiger, the Arthas player, is the solo player in the bottom lane. That's why we have this Eternal Hunger picked up instead of the usual root quest. But I think Attack Power is going to have a really good matchup against Arthas in the bottom lane, so this should go very well for the Peach Boys. Clouded Mines taking a very quick mercenary camp. Make sure that they can get that turret up for the first objective just as quick as possible. Kael'thas just playing as far back as she possibly can, because they know that the enemy team is going to outnumber them in any lane that they decide to go in. Tyrande Owl scouts out the camp being taken just as it pops, so they're not going to be able to do anything to respond to that. Maev going over to try and take this camp. Maev not the best camp taker. Let's see if the Clouded Mines can do anything, maybe invade this camp, or just try to push an advantage with extra heroes on the map. Although Tyrande does come in there to help make sure they get that camp taken out more efficiently. Both teams just playing really passively. Soul, Artanis is a pretty survivable Soul laner, but he's all the way back behind his wall just to make sure that nothing happens before this objective comes up. It'll be interesting to see if either team decides to try and take their, just as I start calling for it, the siege camp. Timing this out really well. The objective is spawning in just about 10 seconds. I'd like to see them hold this so that it's going on during the objective and not just cap it right away. Johanna just using the flashlight to make sure they're not trying to take the support camp. And Arthas, yep, just pretty much continuously being pushed in by Attack Power. Pick up your globes, friends. Your support player will appreciate it, even when you are the support player, Venus. There goes the objective down, and OC Peach Boys deciding, you know what, camps sound like a good idea, we're going to take our own. Taking theirs just a little bit later, which I'd actually like to see them take this camp and then clear the camp from their opponents, that way they have the camp pushing. But at the same time, we have Clouded Mines taking the very important support camps. This is going to give them a really big advantage in the direct fight over the engagement. Tiger, first one out of the point, should be able to get the channel started for the red team, and he does. Though again, I do like this a lot. Just clearing out your opponent's camp makes your own camp push uncontested during the entire objective phase is a really strong move coming out from OC Peach Boys. Neither team particularly close to level 7. I don't have a significant advantage even. Soul coming in for the swap just gets onto Tiger. With the counter root, really big Lunar Flutter coming out. Lots of damage coming out onto OC Peach Boys. And Maev gets taken down. Soul gets taken down. First 2 kills going over to the Clouded Mines. Have just the turrets kind of fighting each other. Little bit of waste on the Biotic Emitter. It did a little bit during that team fight, but otherwise not a whole lot of value to be gained from it. Kael'thas, knowing that they have a 2-man advantage, is just going to split off, take care of this camp at the top lane. It's really smart. Well played by Swing. So, I really don't like the stall coming in from Muradin. Tiny is not going to get taken down, but is going to get chunked significantly, which means that they're not going to be in as good of a position to actually take this defense. Star Knight doing a really good job making sure that the second wind doesn't start to pop. Actually, it's the third wind. My bad. Level 7 talents coming in from both teams. Nothing particularly surprising, although I do like level 7 coming off the Kel'Thas going into a bomb build and not a flame spell. A little unorthodox, but very powerful when you group up fights. Tiny gets chunked really hard. He's able to north us out of there. Soul puts himself in a really aggressive position to try and get Star Knight, but he does not have the support he needs to take him out. A lot of the Triglav being put into this front wall in the mid lane, which means they're not going to be able to do basically anything in the top lane. Soul coming in for another good swap on Tiger, but really just the Peach Boys, they go for these really strong engages, but they are not getting the follow-up damage, or are usually taking more damage for the engagements. A lot of damage goes out onto Tiny, just barely has the Warcross on cooldown to get him out of there. Double Gam gets swapped in, but she's able to walk out just fine. Throws a couple of parting tridents at the members of OC Peach Boys, and that whole time, Swing was pushed off in the bottom lane, so she was getting some really good value with that split. Weena's coming up here to take the turret camp, which is going to give them a nice advantage, and you can see the same thing on getting out the OC Peach Boys doing very similar. Johanna's actually now going up against Artanis in the top lane, but both teams really just committed to safe soaking and not trying to overspend for anything. Not a whole lot going on the map at the moment. Swing is just continuing to soak that pressure. I'd actually like to see one of the tanks doing the soaking and have her over on this camp instead, just because the tanks can generally be a little bit safer, and Kel'Thas is pretty good at dishing out the damage, but as long as they're playing back, it's fine. Down in the most exciting of all lanes, the solo lane, we have attack power just continuing to kill minions, and Tiger continuing to wait for minions to come to him so that he may kill those minions instead. In the slightly less interesting top lane, where there are 8 heroes currently jockeying for position over the support camp, I'm glad neither team is deciding to actually make this into a fight. Although Soul's trying to clear out this camp in the top lane, Swing gets jumped on a little bit, but she's fine. Looks like this... Now that we have the level 10, you can see that Cloud of Minds definitely wants to try and make another play for this biotic emitter. It did well during the previous objective, it's going to do well in this objective, and it gets spotted out, but really, there's nothing they can do except Tyrande throws, try to get just one more E-stack. Speaking of heroics, we actually had Army of the Dead popping in the bottom lane to secure that kill onto Zul'jin. Well done. Then, other than that, we have the Ancestral, we got Ball Lightning, Blessed Shield, but by far the most interesting pick is that Pyroblast. Let's see if they're going to use it here to secure this kill onto Soul. I don't think they're going to get the kill if they don't, and they in fact do not. No Pyroblast fuse, but at the same time, no dead Artanis. We got Mana Addict cleared for Swing, so that's going to give her a next extra ability to try and sustain herself when, especially Soul is getting some really good swaps onto the backline, so this is going to help her out a great deal. 12 seconds until the objective spawns in the top lane. When it's in the top lane, this camp is not as powerful as it is in the other lanes because it's so easy for the members of the opposing team to just walk down, clear the camp, and then walk back to the objective, but it's not nothing, and it's definitely XP that they're a little bit lacking in right now. They're about a half a level behind, which isn't too bad considering they lost the first objective, but it's not where you want to be basically ever. Soul goes in, just gets the Blade Dash, doesn't go in for the Warp Prism. There he goes, throwing out that E, doesn't hit anybody. Maiev gets hit with Swing's E. Both teams taking a little bit of damage. Oh, Soul just queues out to try and not spread that bomb. Well played. Tiny gets touched a little bit. Nice 3-man Lunar Flare, but no follow-up at all. And it looks like Clouded Minds just using their item advantage, trying to hold this defensive position and make the OC Peach Boys walk into them. There goes the first turret, but there's still another one and a biotic emitter, which should come out to start doing quite a bit of damage. Really big Ancestral coming out. Hard to see what's happening, but Maiev has put everyone in a box. However, she does not have her D up quite yet, so Tiny gets taken down. Just barely gets taken down, but Weenus goes down in retaliation. Maiev goes down to the Pyroblast. Usually not a very good Pyroblast target because she's got that Vault, I think it's called, her D. But Swing correctly identified. It was on cooldown, and so used the Pyroblast to secure that kill. Very well done from the side of Clouded Mines. I'm glad that the members of the blue team did not try to go in and make a heroic last stand for this, because if best case scenario, they would have died and still lost the objective. Clouded Mines going for the damage onto the top wall instead of going straight into the bottom lane like is a little bit more standard. Just trying to get the value out of this XP to be gained from these forts. A lot of damage going out on Johanna. Her G-shield's already been popped, and she gets taken out. A lot of damage coming out from the Triglav, but when it pops, it's going to be a 3v4. Pretty big damage coming out from Zul'jin, particularly that last team fight, making really good work out of the guillotine. Tiger gets chunked down really hard, but the peeling ball lightning is just enough to get him out, and Soul gets taken out in retaliation. Really good team fighting coming out from Clouded Mines, fighting actually kind of down a person, because that whole time Swing was getting the damage on the bottom lane. That's probably going to make that well go down. So they get the same value you'd expect from a Triglav Protector, but they just split off a person to do it and use the Triglav in the top lane. Really smartly done, but this does allow the Peach Boys to take their first biotic emitter of the game. Swing coming in, making sure that they can get their turret camp, and at the same time attack power. Looked like he was going to go past it, but he decides, you know what, items are good. We're going to try and get another item so we can make this next team fight work in our favor. And to their credit, OC Peach Boys is not down particularly far in XP. They're even on talent tiers, and they should be during the next actual engagement. Someone's got to pick up this item, guys. There you go. But they're not down a talent tier. More importantly, they're not even down a fort at all, even after having gone through 2 objectives. So they're not losing in that triple XP. They're basically only losing in hero kills. A little bit of a gank attempt coming out onto Soul, but looks like he's just been playing too safe all game. They're not going to be able to actually do anything about him. So both teams just continuing to jockey around for position. Really early siege camp picked up from the side of Clouded Mines, and yet just continue to try and get some damage out on a Soul, but Arthas walking in, he's with murderous intent, but he's not able to actually do anything unless he can get in range for that Howling Blast. Soul goes out for the Blade Dash, doesn't bother throwing out the E, just trying to put a little damage out onto that minion wave, really. Maev comes in for the engage, but the Unstoppable is popped. Huge swap out from Soul onto Venus, but he's already in wolf form. Is he going to be able to get out of it? Lots of damage coming out from Double Dam. Kurt's able to walk out. Maev puts everybody in the box, gets humongous Q resets, just Q after Q after Q, and that is 2, probably 3 kills coming out from the OC Peach Boys. That just basically caught them up in experience, and even if it didn't entirely, they should be able to get the rest of it just off of additional map pressure they should be able to put out now. You can see people splitting off to take this camp, other people splitting off to get this lane. Although, I gotta say, Kel'Thas, I believe that's played by Swings. Yeah, Swing has been putting out some incredible pressure out into the bottom lane. Just a couple more flame strikes is going to take that building out. So, although it was a really strong fight from the OC Peach Boys, they're actually still down in XP. They do have a camp going in the top lane, which is huge when the objective is in the bot lane. But let's see if they'll be able to take that advantage that they got from that previous team fight and parlay that into an objective win. OC Peach Boys are the first team to actually get in onto the objective. Both teams have their fortification camps coming right about now, and it looks like Clouded Mines wants to get that item before going in for that fight. We can actually see that Venus is in the top lane clearing this camp. Tiger is clearing mid lane, so OC Peach Boys has the full confidence knowing that they're not going to need to defend an invade coming in from Clouded Mines for at least another minute, perhaps, because it'll take Venus about that long to finish clearing and then get back down. Clouded Mines does take their fortification camp, and OC Peach Boys, they know that Venus cannot be here yet, so they're just getting some additional damage on that bottom lane. It's been a hot minute since we looked at talents. I don't believe I actually even went over OC Peach Boys heroics. So we have the Warden's Cage, the Suppression Pulse, a little bit of a team fight coming in here. Quite a bit of a team fight. There goes Maev's ult. There goes that was a humongous bunch of Q resets. Just so many Qs coming out from Maev. Taking out 3 heroes at almost the exact same time. Star Knight is very low, gets the hammer on him, and gets taken out. Swing is the sole survivor of this team fight. I believe Swing has not actually died yet. Let's verify that. Has not died, which means, unfortunately for... Oh, yeah, Zul'jin actually went Relentless at level 1. Did not go for Headhunter. I missed that from earlier. But all in all, really, really solid team fight coming out from the OC Peach Boys. Basically, after they got their 10, they've been winning pretty much every team fight that Maev has been able to start with that Warden's Cage. I cannot believe just how many Q resets she got. I actually want to see how much damage she's doing, because Maev, 37k, 38k, that's actually higher than anyone on the side of Clouded Mines, and it's higher than you usually see from Maev. She's a strong hero, but for an assassin, she's kind of a setup. Soul coming in from the swap a little bit puts himself into a bad position. We got the Ignite coming out onto him. Looks like Clouded Mines might be able to defend this keep. There comes the Suppression Pulse just to try and make it so that they can do a little bit extra damage after that keep. And Clouded Mines, they get the defense. Triglav has just a sliver of health yet. And the Peach Boys, they don't want to be put into a team fight where they're down to a hero, particularly one as impactful as their Maev has been. Speaking of impact onto Maev, she gets impacted really hard as all 5 members come out and take her down. Triglav gets a couple lasers out. Soul, however, gets chunked down really hard. There goes the... Ooh, that was a big set of bomb spreads. Tiny's also going to be taken out. That is a 4-for-0 trade. Shadowstalk not able to keep their team topped off. And Initiative is back over onto the side of Clouded Mines. It was looking bad for them for quite a while, but it really feels like whichever team takes the engagement in a team fight is the team that ends up winning that team fight. So, aggression wins games, folks. You've seen it here. A little bit of an invade coming out from Swing. Swing is by far the most split pushy Kel'Thas I've ever seen, but it's really working out for them, so kudos. Tiger's just going to come over here and breathe hard onto this fort, and that'll make it topple over. But trading out a fort for a keep, not generally considered a good trade. So, a little bit of counter damage being done from OC Peach Boys, even though all of their heroes were dead except for Tyrande. However, we have this biotic emitter being taken. We've seen how key those have been in some of these team fights. Additionally, this fortification camp, both fortification camps going over to the side of Clouded Mines, they're going to have a really powerful item advantage coming into this final objective. And it seems very likely that both teams are going to have their level 20s before the next team fight, so there won't be a level advantage. It'll mostly just be a positional advantage and an item advantage. And positionally, I actually feel like OC Peach Boys is a little bit ahead just because they've got this keep in the bottom lane already taken out, and there's no keeps down in favor of Clouded Mines, so they're going to be able to have a little bit more map pressure, but at the same time, Clouded Mines is going to have a lot more item pressure that they can parlay. At the moment, I don't actually know what the members of OC Peach Boys are doing. They're positioning down near the eventual objective spawn. Maybe they're considering coming down here to try and take out Swing, but decided better of it and actually going up into the top lane to just defend this camp. I like the actual macro strategy coming out from Clouded Mines. They've been traveling as a 4-man basically this whole time, whereas you see a 5-man grouping coming out from OC Peach Boys. This gives them a better teamfight potential, but they actually need to try and take a team fight to, leverage that additional manpower that they have. And until just this moment, Swing was in the bottom lane, continuously pushing his bottom lane, getting that extra XP. Not that it matters too much, because level 20 is now here for both teams, but if you can get a level advantage, that's still scaling. Speaking of level 20s, we've got a bit of a minute. Hopefully we can look at some level 20 upgrades. We got Murden with Rewind, the Buzzsaw for Zul'jin. Zul'jin dropping the Buzzsaw right there, putting out some damage on the Tiger. There comes the Warden's Cage. Not quite as impactful. Their biotic emitter gets dropped, and Maev gets chunked down a lot harder than she has in these previous engagements. Swing dropping the Pyroblast. That'll take her out if Maev does not have her trade up. And there goes Soul. Maev as well from that Pyroblast off screen, and that is a 2-for-0 trade. And Clouded Mines is looking to see if they can maybe get some more, deciding better of it, and they're just going to back off and take the objective. Actually, they're going to split off and take this fortification camp, it looks like. Going back into level 20s, we have Shadow Orb Huntress. I'm not familiar with Maev enough to know if that is the standard talent or not. The second charge of Suppression Pulse and the upgraded Eyes of the Huntress for unstealthing and revealing enemy heroes and additional healing on low health targets. The extra ghouls spawned from Arthas. We got the Storm Shield coming out from Rhaegar, Infinite Lightning from Cassia, Storm Shield effectively also coming out from Johanna, and infinitely spreading living bombs coming out from Kael'thas. So I don't think either team has a particular advantage, although the longer these team fights go, I will say the stronger that Zul'jin can scale it, just because he's got that infinitely stacking not only the Arcanite axes at level 7, but also just his basic attacks. So it's going to be a tough fight. And it looks like the Peach Boys are actually not even going to try and take a fight. They've decided that they don't want to try and push in on this entrenched position, and they're just going to try and hold at their keep. It's a good timing on that camp that'll give them some counter pressure, maybe get that top fort. However, Clouded Minds is going to have a really strong push in the bottom lane. This is a 20-minute nearly Triglav Protector, so they can really start chunking out the damage, but at the moment it's unsupported. It gets chunked for 15-20% of its health without actually having any support by it. Trying to use the treadmill to get out of there just a little bit faster, but spoiler alert, Triglav is not affected by the treadmills, so it doesn't actually get you out any quicker or slower, depending on which way you're going. Damage coming out onto Muradin. Really big damage coming out onto attack bar. Ooh, both Zul'jin and Artanis getting hit by that huge Triglav laser. Got to avoid that heroic, and that Triglav is still pretty healthy, just under half health. Johanna gets chunked out pretty hard. She does not have her protected, by the way, at level 20. Venus jumping in into Aris, getting a lot of damage out onto Maiev. Triglav Protector down to 33%, and Clouded Mind's not confident enough to try and go for the end here, even though they dropped 3 turrets. Wow, that is, I think, every item left. And deciding, you know what, we're just going to try and damage this front wall. We got to keep. This puts us in a slightly better position than the enemy team, but slightly ahead is really scary place still at 20 minutes in the game, because it's, at this point, it's here. Honestly, it's Heroes of the Storm, that's the game, but really it's Heroes of the late game team fight. That is what actually wins games. Shout out to Not Paradox with the statistics. Wait, was it Not Paradox? It was a Ghost Duck. Oh god, I feel so bad now. I don't remember who did the stats, and I'm so sorry, but it was shown that the statistic that most correlates with victory is the inverse of time dead. So it's really those late game team fights with those long death timers that determines who wins games. And Clouded Mind's going to make sure that they can get items in here so they can actually, going in before anyone is even there from the rest of the team, is the Maiev getting a bunch of Q resets, but no one quite falling yet. Infinitely spreading bombs, doing way too much damage. Zul'jin was not even participating in that team fight when it started. Tiny gets taken down. Soul gets taken down, and the members of OC Peach Boys are on the run. Let's see, are they going to try and core through bottom lane? I think that they should. There are 2 heroes dead for 50 seconds. And it looks like they don't agree. Clouded Mind's just going to use that to take another item camp, which it's an advantage, but I think that they might have had enough damage out to be able to just outright kill the core. And spoilers, that's how you win the video game. Maiev going out with that shade, just putting a little bit of fear into the enemy team. She doesn't have that Warden's Cage for almost another minute, so she won't be able to wombo the combo them to death. But it still does some damage. A lot of damage coming out onto the members of both teams, actually, but it looks like Clouded Minds have decided that they really want this keep, even dropping the Biotic Emitter for it. I don't know if that is actually worth a keep at this point in the game, because, yeah, keeps put pressure on the enemy team, but keeps don't win you games. At this point, the Triglav should win the game for the next team that obtains one. So I kind of would have liked to see them hold the Biotic Emitter so that they can really secure that next objective, and it looks like they're going to try and continue doing what they've been doing all game, which is just maintaining their item lead. That is the place where the OC Peach Boys, I feel, have kind of fallen behind. It's in picking up these items. To be fair, every time there has been a Triglav going over out on the side of Clouded Minds, they've parlayed that into taking their enemy's fortification camp, and usually the support camp as well, but it's just kind of been going in their favor. Every team fight, they take their opponent's items. We can see that Clouded Minds, they feel like they are in a position they can push up just a little bit aggressively. I don't think they're going to try and take a team fight here. They just want to push this bottom lane out, rotate out, put some pressure in the mid lane, and then clear top lane. And they saw Muradin in the mid lane, so they knew that they were free to do just that. We have all of the heroics up for both teams. Both teams just continuing to jockey around for positioning, clear their opponent's camps, clear the lanes, and try and take an advantageous team fight. Hopefully up a hero. That's what both teams have been really looking to do, is try and take team fights with a numbers advantage. However, the OC Peach Boys been a little less strict in that, and they've been just going for team fights where their Maiev can engage. And to be fair, when they've engaged 5v5 with Maiev engaging, it's worked out really well for them in the past. It was just that one fight over the support camp where they went into a team fight 4v5 that they weren't able to parlay that into victory. Attack power is a little bit low. It's not the worst place for Zildjian to be, though. Double Dam gets jumped on by Soul. Soul doesn't completely mind that. Artanis, however, is going to get chunked down really hard, going in there kind of 1v4, 1v5. Gets taken out, and honestly, OC Peach Boys can't really engage anymore. They need that extra frontliner, otherwise attack power and Kurkit are just going to... Sorry, Kurtit are just going to get chunked out too quickly to do anything about it. Lunaphore coming onto Tiger, but attack power, like I said, he just gets... Without that second frontliner, he just kind of gets jumped on. There comes the Warden's Cage doing a lot of damage and getting some pretty good Q resets. It's not enough when you only have 3 heroes still alive. Pyroblast gets in there, takes Muradin down. Venus coming in for the chased out onto Kurrit, but not able to finish out the support. We have the... Arthas is just maintaining the objective, and the rest of the members of the team just splitting off, seeing what else they can do, putting pressure onto this keep. Looked like they were maybe positioned to try and take the support camp, but deciding they just want to get damage down into this keep. And we now have catapults building up in the mid lane. Kurrit taking a lot of damage from that Flame Strike and Ignite. And there goes the top keep. All 3 keeps down on the side of OC Peach Boys, with a Triglav barreling down through the top lane. This is going to be a miraculous defense if they're able to make it. And I'm not much of a betting man, but I would not bet on the Peach Boys making a defense here. They've played a really phenomenal game, but 26 minutes is a really strong Triglav protector, so let's see what they can do on it. Gonna need a lot of attack power coming out from attack power to try and make this defense, but Triglav is already at the core and it's still at 100% health. Buzzsaw gets dropped, doesn't hit any members of the Clouded Mines. Venus getting in there and taking out attack power, and there goes the Triglav just wailing on the core. It's gonna start falling really fast. Venus gets chunked out by attack power, and gets actually jumped on by Soul and Tiny, but he's able to walk out of there, pops his shield, keeps everyone on their team alive. There goes the damage out from the Triglav Protector. It's just right-clicked out onto the core, and GG, game number 1, going over to Clouded Mines.